Well, we spoke to Tony Brown a couple of seasons back, played 108 games for the Saints, played 91 of those in the number two, took the number two the year after Danny Frawley's retirement. His first full season playing in the ones was 1995, Spud's last year in the number 26 that year, and then obviously took the number two there on forward. Both Tony Brown and Aaron Hamill, the most prolific wearers of that jumper since Spud. Browny, nice to have you back this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, gents.
Now, can you take us through that transition? I guess your first memories of Spud, and then what it was like to, I guess, get the honour to wear the number worn by, at that stage, our longest-serving captain.
Sure. Walking into Moorabbin as a 17-year-old with my eyes wide open. Spud was one of the first teammates I met in the locker room, and I learned pretty quickly that you had to respect your elders, and you spoke when you're asked, and if you push boundaries, he'd cut you off at the legs very quick smart. So he was the best captain I've ever played under. He was a terrific person, and we miss him dearly.
Brownie, you knew Spud, I guess, in a number of guises. Obviously, as a young bloke coming through the footy club, he obviously came back to the club as an assistant coach later on. And I guess as you got older, and your roles off the field, getting to know Danny off the field as well. And what was that process like for you? And I guess from your perspective, what was he like off the field? We all watched him as we were growing up as our Captain Courageous and the hard man on the field, and got to know him a little bit off the field post-career. But what was he like with you, and what are your memories of the man?
Yeah, he took me under his wing a little bit in my first year. I think you had to prove yourself to Spud. Ozzie Jones and Joel Smith and Maxie Hutchin, we all started at a similar time. And, I suppose you had to earn your stripes under Spud, like a lot of the senior boys at that time. And once he realised that you were there for the right reasons and that we could possibly help on field, he would embrace you, and he certainly did that. He was a mentor. He was a bit of a father figure to us all, and obviously I was really honoured to take the number two when he retired at the end of 95. So that was a massive honour that I feel very proud to have my name on the number two locker under his name, and I've certainly shown my kids. I think only once they've been to Moorabbin, but I was very proud to show them. But off the field, he was like on the field. He was just so passionate. He just loved the club. He bled red, white, and black, and he would train as hard as anyone. He's the first there, last to leave, but then he got the balance right as well. So, he was the first to have a bit of a laugh and to hang a bit of crap on you if you deserved it. And I suppose he taught us how to work hard, but also made sure we had the right balance with our lives as well.
So he was the practical joker and had the great having a laugh, but he also the other side where we've seen when he was coaching, he'd give as good a spray as I guess anyone. But is there either a moment in Moorabbin taken you aside and he's given you some good advice and something that you found quite humorous, or a really good spray that has stuck with you over the years?
Yeah, there's probably two, Aaron. The first one was when I was actually given the number two Guernsey, and I went to Moorabbin to grab the jumper to go and do a photo shoot at the MCG with Spud, and he was coaching Collingwood at that time as an assistant coach, and I was 2 minutes late. And I walked in because old Cliffy Pryor, our property steward, he was a bit tardy in finding the number two jumper and handing it over. And I raced into the MCG, and he said, "Brownie," he said, "Righto, you're 2 minutes late. The number two is never late." So that was a bit of a life lesson. And from that day on, I was never late for anything. The other one probably with Ozzie and Joel and myself when we started in 95, we turned up to a barbecue. Again, a little bit late. And he said to us as young players that, "Boys, we put this barbecue on for everyone to be there. You've been a bit tardy in getting there. it's not good enough. So yeah, from that day on, I think we were the first there and sometimes last to leave. But yeah, certainly I remember him giving us a couple of life lessons early days.
Okay, I guess a couple on now. Obviously, you're working in the player welfare space and things like that. How much of that, you look at Spud and the work he did post his career with coaches that had lost their jobs and in the mental health space. Is there an element almost of carrying that legacy, thinking, well, that's probably a path that he would have walked down, and at the same time, I think it's our 4th or 5th edition of the Spuds game now. Do you feel that the players, that they're fully across everything that we're talking about in terms of the history, that they fully embrace that, they understand the legacy that came before them with him?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they do embrace it. A lot of them never met Spud, so they love hearing stories, and obviously Halves and I played with him. We're on staff now, and then obviously Lenny and BJ and Enright and Brendan Bolton and Jared Rivers, Damien Carroll, all the development and senior coaches now. They had a lot to do with him over the journey. So current players love hearing stories about him. Obviously, we've got the Danny Frawley Health and Wellbeing Centre at Moorabbin now, with all the physical health downstairs and the mental health upstairs, which is an amazing legacy. One of his daughters, Chelsea, she does a fantastic job running that. Certainly the players that met him and worked under him when he did come back part-time as a development coach, feel very lucky to have got to know him that during that period and learnt a lot from him. He hosted one of our induction weekends down at Indented Head, where the Frawleys have got a holiday house down there, where we sat around the open fire, and he pulled his last ever St Kilda Guernsey out and spoke about what it meant to pull on the red, white and black jumper. He was so passionate. He had a really kind heart, but he also knew when to put you back in your box if you stepped out of line too.
Bit of a two-parter from me. I mean, what's his legacy inside the four walls at the footy club today? And I guess off the back of that, has the messaging changed at all to the group this week? I guess in the lead up to Spud's game, I mean, how does the messaging change? Does it change at all as opposed to a regular week leading into a regular game? Does the messaging change to the playing group at all?
Oh, to be honest, not really, Nick. Ross was very measured with every game and leading into different theme rounds. It's very similar. Obviously, there's a bit more attention, and he will address it, no doubt, pre-game at the MCG. So obviously, MCG Friday night against Carlton on the big stage, and being Spud's game, he will reference it. But certainly. Yeah, he's very process driven, and it will be a focus on getting the 4 points, but certainly acknowledging that at the right time. We do have a past players and official function at the G on Friday night for Spud's game as well, and obviously the awareness around mental health and people being able to donate. It will certainly be acknowledged, but. Not a huge focus for the players leading into Friday night.
Do you have a little group of, like a number 2 group, yourself and Stamy Hamill and Aaron Sipos and any of those sort of names? Do you just feel a little bit of a bond, and do you ever catch up with any of them, just have that thing between you?
Oh, we don't catch up, but certainly, I think Aaron Sipos was at the club when I first started in the role, and obviously played in the Super Bowl recently, and he's at the Hawks now. And so, Aaron Hamill worked very closely with, and then, Marcus Windhager, but also Jake Carlisle, who joined us from Essendon for a few years. We all the number 2. So we all tell a few stories about Spud when we catch up, but we don't catch up very often these days, but it's, we all feel very privileged, and we're all very proud to have worn the number 2 after the great man.
Looking at your current role, and obviously looking at some of the younger players, obviously one of those wearing the number 2 in Marcus Windhager, third or fourth season in the game. Yeah, must be thrilled with the development of some of those guys. Obviously, Filippo, we're hopefully seeing again this week. Wilson in year 2, Travalia, Boxall debuting on the weekend. Looks like there's a few coming through, about 6 debutants this year, and you'd think Taru later in the year has a chance to make it 7.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the best part of my roles is once the player gets informed that they're going to debut, and after they've spoken to their parents, I get on the phone and organise flights and accommodation and certainly arrange a meeting point, whichever venue we're playing at, to bring them down to see their son get presented the Guernsey for the first time. So to be a part of that is very special, and you get a bit of an insight into their families as well. So, yeah, it's really exciting times. Obviously, there's a bit talked about. We probably need a couple more A graders to make sure that we bring into the fold to help these young guns who are developing and I suppose keeping who we've got. So, yeah, all of those boys that you mentioned are going to be really quality long-term players for us. And, yeah, I get a kick seeing them achieve on the field, but also off the field with helping them along with uni or short courses or work placements and setting them up in the appropriate living environment and making sure they're eating well and got a really good balance between footy and the real world.
Brownie, have you seen James Barrett's birth certificate?
Well, I have actually. His dad sent it to me, so I'm happy to send that through to you guys after we've chatted. But the media team did make a bit of a joke of it early on, and yeah, his dad thought it would be appropriate to send it through just to prove that he's only 18.
How's he going?
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. He had a nose operation, and he was a little bit crook pre-Christmas, but he got on top of that. Now, he's had a couple of little niggles, but yeah, he's just finding his groove, and yeah, he's going to be a really, really good halfback or backman for us in years to come. So hopefully he gets an opportunity between now and the end of the season at AFL level, but he's coming along really well. Yeah, he's really grateful of the opportunity and asks the right questions, and he's digging in, working hard like all the first years.
So how are they blending as a group? Well, you've seen most of them, as I say now, 6 debutants this year. They seem to be working well with the group. They're mixing in well. As it all seems to be going the right way. Is there any particular ones that I guess maybe a bit more of the teachers' pets and they're hanging on the back of it, either senior players or they keeping it to themselves, or keeping in the younger group? And it's sort of how's the mix going between all?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, it's always interesting with their living arrangements and who they click with when they walk through the doors at Moorabbin every day. But yeah, Harry Boyd and his partner Alessia, they're hosting Barrett, Sed, and Travalia. So they're all living in a beautiful home in Bentley East and doing a really good job there. Yeah, Huey Boxall, he's with Liam Stocker. So Liam Stocker's playing a bit of a father figure, I suppose, for Huey, who's come over from the West, which is terrific. Alex Dodson's down with a host family. Mookie and Scott down in Aspendale, and they're doing a terrific job hosting him. And then Mason Wood, he's hosting a few of our young boys, Angus Hasty, Liam O'Connell, and Alex Tarue. So they're all living in elite environments and being looked after by the host families or by their older teammates, and they're doing a terrific job. So it's exciting what they've got to offer for us, and yeah, the coaches are doing a great job in developing them off field, and I'm hoping I'm doing my job off field. Off field.
I had heard about Meso's daycare. Is it he's running a good shift there? Is he?
Yes, he's got the whiteboard in the kitchen, and that's got who's cooking and cleaning and doing the vacuuming every week. So it's quite funny. The House of Excellence, the boys have nicknamed that house.
Brownie, 2 guys, I guess, that we haven't seen for a little while. Max King and Paddy Dow, out for different reasons, different health reasons. Obviously, Paddy had that horrific situation late last year and has been, I guess, recovering from that ever since. And Max King, well documented knee and body injuries over the last couple of years. A, how are they tracking mentally, emotionally? And B, I mean, how do you in your role deal with those setbacks and I guess recovering and rehabbing those?
Yeah, they're both resilient young men, quality young men. They've got a really good balance. They obviously had rotten luck with injuries over the last 6 months. Paddy Dow's nearly finished his degree at Deakin Uni, so he's got stuck into making sure that he nails that. Maxie's doing his business degree at Monash Uni, and again, he's getting his teeth stuck into that. So, not that there's any positives, I suppose, with not being out on the field, but they're certainly making use of their time in other ways. They're doing everything they can that our Rio staff and our medical staff put in front of them. They're not sure exactly when they're due back, but they'll be great additions to our team when they are ready to go. But just quality people who are doing everything right and can assure everyone that listens to your show that they'll be back bigger and better, and hopefully sooner than later.
Look, quickly, is anyone advising Ross before he goes to his press conferences, or is that a all seats taken event that you want to get down there and see as it's happening live? That we find it very entertaining.
Yes, he's a beauty. He's keeps everyone on our toes, and he holds everyone accountable, which I love. And I don't think anyone can give him advice towards the media. He does what he does, and does it very well.
Brownie, last one from me before we let you go. I think everyone's kind of starting to look to a part of football life without Rowan Marshall as he gets to age 30 and beyond. The ruck stocks at the club, not a lot of people talk about them, but obviously we've got Max Heath, Alex Dodson coming through in the last draft. How are those two particularly tracking? And Harry Boyd, I guess, to some extent as well, as a bit of an older recruit. What is it that the club wants to see out of those two young guys in particular, I guess, over the next 12 to 18 months in their development?
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly all our players have got individual action plans, GBE plans they call. They're getting better every day, and all of those boys have got focuses that they work with their development and assistant coaches with on a daily basis, and they revisit them so regularly. So because I'm not in the coaching space, I probably can't talk specifically about what each of those are, but certainly they're Darren Flanagan, he's our ruck coach, so he's doing a really good job. Each of those boys you mentioned, probably Isaac Keeler is the other one that has pinched in the ruck a little bit so far in his early days. But they're doing a terrific job, and they're just doing what they can to develop as ruckmen. I mean, the sports scientists, they monitor their GPS, and the conditioning staff manage, obviously how far they're running and how fast they're running and all of that. So every training session's filmed behind the goals and on the wing, and obviously every game. So they're scrutinised to the nth degree every time they step out on the training field or the field on game day. So, the coach is doing a great job with them, and they're working really hard. They're very clear of what they have to do to get to the next level, and it's just about getting an opportunity. And hopefully, Dodson and Heath, they'll get an opportunity later this year or early next year. And then Harry Boyd, he showed he can step in and play at the right time. And then, hopefully Keeler can add that string to his bow when he plays down forward.
Tony, been great to get your thoughts once again and reflecting on a really big week for the club. We look ahead to Friday night and hopefully a victory and obviously honouring Spud in the right way. But thanks for jumping on.
No worries, gents. Thanks again for having me.